Okay, so back for one more step here. I'm still using that filbert brush, just to remind you of that, nice flat one. I'm going to concentrate on bringing some of the dark colors down. I still am planning on using, let me just use this black brush handle to show you, whoops, sorry, where I'm going to be putting a mountain range. So I need to know where this lowest point here, I'm going to bring that mountain range at least to cover that. So be careful when you're doing the color, you don't come zipping down in here. If you do, you'll just have to bring some more color over the top, and I'm just trying to save steps. It's perfectly fine. I'm gonna check, I hit the tripod, make sure it's still filming. Okay, we're good. All right, so I'm gonna pick up some blue, regular old blue. I gotta find a spot in my palette here. And mix a little bit of black into it, so I darken it up, okay? So it's probably 2/3 blue or 1/3 black. How you get there doesn't matter. And I'm gonna pull down, instead of pulling up, this time I'm gonna pull from the top down. And I'm concentrating on the very top at first. So I'm not even really touching those colors we just did. Just getting some paint on here. It almost looks green, so forgive me. There might be some yellow in my brush. But the sometimes black and blue will make kind of a green color. I don't know why, just depends on the paint you've got. So now I've got the darkest color that I'm using so far in the very top. Just kind of got it smushed on there. It's still wet. I'll make a little bit more. And using my brush again, nice and flat, sharpened, nice and flat, I'm going to pull some of these down into these colors. Just pulling down very lightly, very thin, and pull it down into some of the colors I've already got on there. Okay? I need to constantly thin my paint or it skips. Okay, and again, so just pulling this down, kind of like blades of grass. Some of them are longer, some of them are shorter, but really trying to stay very straight up and down. Okay? And that, you'll see, kind of adds a little darkness in there. Oh, that one's really dark. Hello, that's okay. What this is this is going to be the sky behind the borealis, if you will. So some of these are going to go a little longer. Just kind of going by fast. Mixing up a little more paint as we go. A little more blue, tiny bit of black in it. Thin paint. Okay. Again, over here on the left side, pull some of these down. And just trying to make some longer, some shorter. I'm trying not to make them even as they come down. Like I said, almost like blades of grass. Okay, I can actually turn the brush this way a little bit now. I could turn it this way with a very light touch and sweep it out some. Just light, like I'm tickling somebody. Very little. That'll give a nice soft edge. Again, I know I'm telling you, this is more advanced, so this is more for you than it is probably for your kids. But if you already got it, you're gonna be playing with it, so why not know how some of the things we do. Okay, I'm gonna switch gears here and switch to straight black. Black is black is black, very, very opaque in this case. So I gotta be careful where I put it or it's going to be too much. I'm gonna stay at the top and I'm gonna pull down about half as far as I did the first time. Again, the little blades of grass. So some of these are coming down. The very top is gonna be solid black, maybe that top ½ inch. And I'm just pulling a few down. Some can go farther down than others, but I'm concentrating on just the second layer. So I started with the blue and black, and this time a straight black. Okay. And some of them will go a little farther down, especially on the sides if you want it darker. I know you mentioned that before, where you have the sides a little darker blue. And just pull that down. Kind of going quickly. Hopefully my big head's not in the way. And Dawn giggled on that one because she knows it's true. Got a parade float for her head, but that's okay. And so pulled some of that down like that, and I hit it with my big head. See, that's why it just shook. I wasn't lying. Okay. And I can keep going on this till the cows come home, but I'm just for the idea here. I just want you to see what I've done. All right. So now I know it doesn't look like a whole lot up there, but now check this out. I'm going to real quickly do like we did in this last one down here, and I'm going to put in a horizon line. I can go a little farther down. I'm just using straight black. I can go farther down than this bottom part because the mountains are going to come up here, and I want to preserve those. So I don't know, just about right here. Again, I'm using my filbert brush, touch. Pull across. It does not have to be totally flat. I mean, it could go up and down a little bit, because there is coves and things against there. We just don't want it at this angle or this angle. Look like the water is going to run off. And up there, I hit it again. I'm going to check my camera angle. Yeah, we're still good. And so again, I'll just refine that a little bit. That'll work. I kind of dipped down on this side, but that's okay. You'll get it. So now that I've done that, now I'll put in some little foothills again, and the little guy that comes over here and just bumps along. Just being careful not to cover up all the pretty northern lights I just added, so to speak. I don't know how pretty they are. And little hill will come up here, peaks, little peak, little valley, comes across and off into the abyss. All right, and so, and again, fill that in. And then I'm gonna go for a little longer on this video. Hopefully it'll work, guys. This probably will be my last one, so that you have something to work with and I don't overwhelm you with a bunch of stuff. I can refine my hills over here again. Maybe I got a real tall one over here. He goes up like that, and it's Denali or whatever is over there. All right, so there's my little mountain range, and now you can see I've kind of got those northern lights behind it. I could still come in here and refine it a little bit if I don't like it. If I want something to come down a little farther, maybe over here it's all darker. Just pulling this down, and I'll really dark up the top here a little bit. Anyways, so you kind of get the idea. Now, I'm going to clean my brush real fast as we're talking here, so using the same filbert brush. I'm going to show you if you wanted to make that water at all, any type of, I don't know, type of waves, ripples, whatever you want to do, figure out. Right now, you don't really have a light source. The whole background is the light source. I didn't put a moon or anything, so the water's pretty much going to be the same. But let's say I wanted to have a little lighter color up there. I've got some of this aqua color left on my brush. Maybe I'll just gently, very lightly pull that across. Very lightly. It's pretty thin too. My paint's pretty thin. A lot of water. Hopefully you can see it. I'm going to just very lightly pull across a few of these strips and just cruise across. Have a few little light areas up here by the shore. Try not to go into my wet paint. And so now you got a little bit of motion coming across. Maybe I'll go in a straight blue, a little darker. And down here towards the bottom, same thing. Just, biggest thing is nice long strokes, very light pressure. But try to get all the way across if you can. It's okay if they're darker on this side and they get lighter over here. Anyways, now I'll slowly cruise up. I'll add a little bit of that aqua color into that so that I kind of come up to this here. And just that fast, I can have a little bit of motion. Now I've turned my brush this way, so not thin anymore. Now I'm wide, like I'm just gently going across, just pulling this color out. Okay? Try not to have any waves go this way because it's a nice, serene, calm Alaska night. All right? Okay, so there I've got that done. Again, back into this brush here. Let's say I want to make I'll make this one a little simpler without the trees. Let's say we've got a little cove area here. All right, little hill comes down, pulling this down, comes down to the front of the water, and pull out that, and then we come across. So this, again, it's going to bottom out at the bottom of my red painting. Fill this in. A thing to remember is colors, even if you're using like a gray or whatever, the colors always get darker the closer they get to you. So if my mountains are gray, this mountain here would be a darker gray or black. And if there was mountains behind there, they'd be lighter gray. Things just naturally get lighter in the nature because of all the pollution in the air and stuff. So if you were going multiple layers like that, doesn't really matter. Okay, so I've got my little whatever you call this, my little hill, my little reef, and maybe I want to do a I'll pull a Bob Ross move here. I'm going to put a happy little cabin right here. I just switched to my flat brush because it's a little more controllable. But let's say I'm going to have a little fishing shack. So I'm going to just pop this here, and I'll here, and we'll put a little roof on them. And just a real fast little shape so you can see. It's going to be a silhouette anyway. And I'll leave one window without paint, so I'll just cut that little window in there. It's kind of down on the shore, a little rickety thing. Really rickety when I just did that. Oh well. It's just a little fishing hut. Okay, it's down there on the shore. Just got a silhouette there so you can see. So just something different. Okay, maybe it's got a little chimney over here. It don't matter. Okay, and then I could come in if I'm really careful and In a perfect world, this would be dry paint, and I would, sorry again, hit that thing with my head. I would pick up a little bit of maybe white and yellow, and just, I'm gonna try to do this without touching the black. Just gonna drop a little color in that window, like there's a little fire burning inside. Something's lighting up the inside, keeping it warm. Okay, there you go. There's that. You could add trees. If you wanna balance this painting out, maybe you've got a tree on the left side. I'll use that filbert brush again, and I'll keep hitting with my fat head. Come over here on this side, and I got a big old tree coming up. And, oh, maybe another small one here. He just goes past the mountain. As again, I'm using the filbert brush. Last time I used the flat brush. Same technique though with making a Bob Ross tree. Up here you're gonna hardly see it. Touch on the top, slowly get wider. Come across the mountain, you won't see it. Okay, it gets wider. Big old fat tree. Thin that down. Here's his buddy. Okay. And there you go. If you wanted to have a light source, like something's lighting up these trees a little bit, again, quick little swish of my water. My brush is still dirty. And I could pick up a little bit of white, and it's going to mix into the gray already, or rather into the tree. I'm going to slightly touch on the right side because it looks like the light's coming over this way. Just be real careful. And maybe there's a little bit of snow on here, I don't know. Just kind of touch on the edges, top and right edges of this tree branches. A little more on here. Come over to this side. Okay, and just here and there. I'm not trying to cover everything up I just did. I'm just trying to highlight a little bit of it. Okay, if you're having trouble with your paint sticking, thin it out some. The thinner paint will stick to the thick paint when it's wet. But if it's thicker than what's on your canvas, it's not going to stick. Okay, so a few here and there. And you know, you could have as much fun as you want all day long. You could have a little bit of highlight up on this hill. It's kind of a rocky hill. Comes down, and I'll just kind of blot this out down. All right, so now that thing's sitting on a hill, a little bit over here on this one. And we'll call that good enough for that lesson. All right, hope this works. Talk to you soon.